Hi, I'm Gordon, and today I'm in Mexico City getting a coffee at BUNA. Note this is nothing to do with Buuna in Lisbon, seen here, although both are named after the Ethiopian word for coffee, and I've got a separate review of the Portuguese cafe if you're interested. Anyway, back to Mexico City, and when I visited in mid-2025, there were 3 BUNA locations. 2 traditional cafes in trendy Roma and Condesa, and a larger roastery cafe roughly between Roma Norte and Doctores. I checked out the latter, and it's unique not just for the roastery and its sheer size, but the fact it's not actually located on the street, but within a converted warehouse or maybe an old factory. Further adding to the challenges, while you can clearly see BUNA on Google Maps and even smell the roasting beans from the street, you won't actually find a sign for it or even an obvious entrance. This is because it's actually located inside the Laguna Cultural Centre on Dr. Lucio, which is where you'll first need to ring a bell to gain access to a reception area, before then presenting ID to a security guard. Only then can you proceed down a large corridor to explore the delights of the cultural centre within. This opens up into a mini village of artisanal craft shops, small creative businesses and cafes, all shielded from the hustle and noise of the street. It feels a little like a walled community at times, but it's certainly packed with interesting places. After passing a rather good bakery, which is next door to the shared toilets for all the businesses here, you'll spot BUNA on the left. It's a cavernous space with tall ceilings, bathed in natural light, and peppered with large potted plants. This is the definition of industrial chic. It's open every day apart from Sundays. Outnumbering the plants inside though are the number of co-working customers on laptops, with a wealth of seating areas and AC outlets to get some work done. Suffice it to say there's also Wi-Fi, although for the sheer number of customers I'd have preferred the toilets to actually be inside the cafe. Surely there's enough room. If you prefer not to be surrounded by laptops though, there is a more peaceful option that I'll mention in just a moment. All their coffee is roasted on site, with most I saw hailing from Mexico. Espresso-based drinks use their datura beans and start at 55 pesos, or about $3, so that's towards the higher prices I found in the city. Oat milk and I believe also macadamia milk are available, and what's that? Yes, a decaf option, the first I saw during 2 weeks travelling across Mexico. They also had a nice looking selection of pastries available, although again, there's a pretty solid bakery outside. I asked the friendly barista about filter options and to my surprise was immediately led away from the main ordering and seating area to a secluded private section at the back of the building. This is where you'll find Café Tal, effectively a cafe within a cafe which specialises in filter coffees only. They also ban laptops in this section, which encourages conversation and makes for a much more pleasant experience, surrounded by more plants and even sapling coffee trees. It was like a VIP members room for coffee enthusiasts, and I loved it. The barista here, who also posts on Instagram as Dr. Cafina Explosiva, patiently explained their 3 filter options, all washed processes from the Oaxaca region of Mexico. Now, many cafes will let you smell the beans, but this was the first time I'd actually had them sprayed before my nose with something a bit like an atomizer. My group chose the Geisha as an AeroPress and one of the Typica Bourbons as a pour-over. These cost 95 pesos each, which is about $5 or £4. I was also interested by the barista's AeroPress recipe, which added water 3 times at different temperatures, which he reckoned accentuated both acidity and sweetness. The AeroPressed Geisha certainly ended up being my favourite of the 2, with more defined flavours. Meanwhile, an Americano made with their standard espresso beans was bold, albeit lacking some of the fruit flavours I normally like. I also ordered a decaf for the sheer novelty in Mexico, which was excellent. Certainly one of the better ones I've tried and a rare treat in this part of the world. I should also add that if you're in the exclusive filter cafe section, other members of your group can still bring their espresso-based drinks in too, just no laptops. Overall, it's hard not to be impressed by BUNA's Roastery Cafe. If nothing else, the sheer scale of it is in a different league, and I love how the vast space could accommodate massive potted plants which would turn other cafes into a jungle. If you're looking for space to work, they have heaps available, but the pièce de résistance is that filter cafe in the back, again like a VIP room for coffee enthusiasts. Sure, the drinks are on the pricier side, the entrance certainly isn't obvious the first time you arrive, and speaking of paying a visit, well, the toilets outside the cafe do make you feel a bit like you're at an airport, but again, all is forgiven for that VIP filter room. Let me know your favourite cafes in Mexico City and across the country, along with any others you think I should review wherever they are. And if you get a chance, I'd also love if you could check out some of my other cafe reviews here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.